Hey, everybody. He's Hawk. I'm Font. It's the Dynamite Show here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel, as well as live on X. And for those of you listening in the morning, Thursday morning on the Fight Game Media free audio feed, I want to thank you all for joining us. Jeff.
See, we have to stop doing this sort of thing because I was confused as to who sent me the Harley Cameron cameo. Because
yeah, pop on. Yeah.
I was like, okay. Who?
Yeah, well, it's because I guess it's my username from the first few letters of my email address.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't pick it. In fact, but then when I reread the thing, I didn't actually sign it. So she was working with what she had. That's all on me. But anyways, if you watch Dynamite, as I assume you did, you know what we're talking about with that intro, and we'll get to that. But Jeff.
So hold on, we're not calling him Adam Copeland anymore.
Nope.
We're just calling him the rated R superstar Cope.
Correct. I mean, if you were listening to the commentary, and God bless you if you were, because I sometimes don't want to, they said Cope over and over and over and over again. And there were times when they accidentally said Adam Copeland and then immediately corrected themselves to Cope.
Is this a trademark thing?
I think it's a marketing thing.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I feel like it's to put so people search for Cope, they're gonna find him. And maybe like Cope versus Mox, on a poster. Might be because there's too many Adams in the company. You've got Adam Cole, Adam Copeland. I don't know. My solution would just be to call Adam Cole Budge and make him Keith Lee's manager, but this
is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, this is the dumbest thing I've heard in AEW. This totally reminds me of something that Vince would have done.
It's something like, okay, we're gonna trademark this and have all new merchandise like this, and then so it's probably like a Cope LLC that he set up.
And that's fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but you don't have to. You could call him you sometimes call him Cope, sometimes call him Copeland, like Mox.
It's
Moxley.
This is such a bad idea.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, just go buy the Edge trademark. Ask them how much they want for it.
Call him Cliff. That reminded me of that nickname Cliff when he had the exchange with Big Bill that we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But yeah, so that drove me nuts in that main event. I couldn't even pay attention to the match, to be honest with you. Like I was like, what? And then when someone posted the graphic, because I guess I missed it during the entrance, but it actually said rated R superstar Cope. And hey, we got a super chat here, and we haven't even started, so we can
Adam!
get right away.
We should go back.
What's up, you guys? Good to see you tonight. I thought it was a decent show overall, even with the amount of downtime. I saw a diehard AEW fan say that this show was boring, which surprised me.
I was kind of perplexed by the number of people who did not like this show because there wasn't enough wrestling on it. And I'm just like, and it was one of those things where they're saying, man, this feels very much like a WWE show because they're doing a lot of interviews and angles. And I'm just
the reason for this supposedly is that they're trying to explain the product to all these new people watching on Max.
Good.
Yeah.
This is a positive, people. Everybody needs to calm down.
It is. I don't know how many new people are actually watching on Max.
Okay.
That's another issue.
That said, let's get to a bigger issue. If you're trying to introduce this product to many new fans and whatnot, where the hell is Will Ospreay on this program?
He probably got the week off.
He's in the States.
I'm not joking. Like,
I know you're not joking, but I'm just like, okay. It's one of those things where we went from World's End to this show, and half of the reasons to watch World's End were not on this show, and that's kind of weird.
Kyle Fletcher, Will
Ospreay,
Okada.
Okada.
Keshta, yeah, I forgot about him. Who else was good on that show? Mercedes was there.
Mercedes went on there, and that she
Atlander was not
promo. Yes.
No, Will.
There's plenty of people that are probably flying to Japan. I get that.
Yes.
And that brings my second question.
Well, yes.
Is Wrestle Dynasty? I was people jumped down your boy's throat here when I said, hey, what the hell is Kenny Omega doing re-debuting on a New Japan pay-per-view or whatever? And it was one of these things. Well, it's co-branded, this Wrestle Dynasty. And we didn't get a lot of AEW Wrestle Dynasty promos other than Mercedes tonight, did we?
Mercedes, she mentioned the show.
She mentioned the show.
She did not mention. She mentioned the date, but
Yes.
Japan is in a different time zone. In fact, I think it's a different date there right now. So people expecting to see it on January 5th may be surprised that it already happened. They have no idea where to watch it. They have no idea when it's happening on January 5th.
Look, this is Tony in his bubble of internet wrestling fandom saying everybody knows how to get these things and everybody's like subscribing to, New Japan World or whatever. And you're just like, no, Tony, treat us like we're children sometimes and over-explain. And speaking of which, this is a perfect segue to the thing that has grinded my gears.
This is wrong. This is wrong, by the way, John. And I appreciate you saying, and Jeff said the same thing too. But a lot of the people on the show tonight are on that show on Saturday or Sunday.
Are they?
It's Sunday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Okay.
Claudio, Ricochet. Ricochet's challenging for the world title.
Yes, they didn't say anything about that.
Nope. But he is there. Mercedes. Like there's I don't know. Brody King is on the show. He wasn't on the show tonight, but I don't think that's a big loss. Kenny is not there. Obviously, he was there on Saturday. Kenny, I want to talk about Kenny. Okay.
Oh,
and I have not heard anyone mention this besides me.
Hit me up.
And I'm surprised you didn't mention this, unless you did and I didn't see it. Kenny returns at World's End, and he gives the belt to Okada. He didn't lay him out with it. He didn't clothesline him. He didn't do anything. He smiled at him. He shook his hand. The last time we saw Omega and Okada in the ring together, he kicked him in the gut right after Kenny said, one shot to the gut might kill me. And I was told, that must mean Kenny's ready to come back because they wouldn't have done this angle otherwise. And I'm like, no, I think he's getting an operation. Well, then this sets up the return. They're going to have a great match when he returns. It's going to be so heated, blah, 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 blah. He shows up and he shakes his hand.
And they tease a match in 4 months?
6 months.
6 months. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, regardless. Okay. You tease the match. That's fine. But this was their first time in the ring together.
No, I agree. The continuity was lacking. I like continuity.
Yes. And so in the same company that expects you to remember like a backstage segment from 18 months ago on Dynamite makes sense, expects you to forget that, Kenny is the one that was put out by Okada. So I was flabbergasted. It was a nice moment.
Well, there was this though. The other thing that I reacted to this week was a tweet about something called the Tunnel Talk podcast. All credit to them for doing an interview with the Young Bucks. And take this with a grain of salt because this is a transcription from the tweet. I did not listen to the Tunnel Talk podcast because I didn't have the time. I may go back and listen to it, but the Young Bucks on fooling fans that they were washed as wrestlers working boring matches with their EVP gimmicks. When we did the EVP things, we were like, let's just have really boring matches. Let's stop doing all the super athletic moves that get the big reactions. It is hard because one of the things in general is that most of our stuff is pretty exciting. It's high spots. Nicholas, I stopped doing dives for maybe 8 months. I didn't do a tumble out to the floor for about 8 months, and that was on purpose. We literally wanted people to think, are these guys not athletic anymore? Are they just boring wrestlers now? Matthew, one thing that really pissed me off was someone said, I thought the Young Bucks were washed. And I was thinking, oh, come on, you guys fell for the gimmick that we were doing. We didn't forget how to wrestle out of nowhere. Come on, don't be dumb.
Wow.
There's an old trope in screenwriting classes that if people don't know the story you're telling, you're not telling that story. And they never told this story one bit. You know what I heard? I heard that they were banged up and injured. And that's why they weren't doing a lot of these high spots.
And in fact, I recently heard that the whole reason they put the belts on Private Party was because Nick needed a couple months off.
Oh, and also apparently they were going to lose to the Outrunners in a squash. And I was like, all right, that's a choice that could be made. But no, they did not tell the story at all. And you're not allowed to tell us you were telling this story. You know what this is? This is like when comedians either stand up or improvisers bomb, and they come off and they say, "Man, that audience just didn't know what we were doing. We were too heady for them. We were too smart." It said, "No, you just didn't connect with the audience." And I read this and I went, nowhere did they ever. The best way that this story was ever told was in ECW, to be honest with you, with Cactus Jack.
Yeah, Plethora mentions this.
Where he didn't. Okay, I'm not looking at the chat right
Buck
now.
saw Foley in ECW, completely misunderstood what he was doing. Yeah,
nobody misunderstood what he was doing. He told the story.
No, the Bucks misunderstood.
Oh, the Bucks okay, gotcha. But it was just and nobody ever called their matches boring. That's the other thing. I don't. Well,
okay, Bucks and FTR was like one of the best tag team matches of the year. The Bucks Private Party match was the one they had with Ospreay and Fletcher on Dynamite. Killer. So if they're trying to have boring matches, well, they failed at that too. Because what they're talking about is they had these squash matches when they first started the gimmick, where they were like wrestling in their suits and they weren't doing anything. This is what they're talking about, I think.
Yes, I know. And you know what? If this was hit over the head with commentary, that they've decided that in their positions, they have decided they no longer need to entertain the fans.
We have one match a month.
Story.
We have one match a month, and this is it.
And you know what? If they had changed up their style of wrestling a little bit to be like more,
they did for those squash matches.
They didn't really, though. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, really change. I mean, like, be more grappler. Southern style or whatever they want to be. You never leave your feet or whatever. I'd be fine with that.
There's someone else that used to do this. Dave talked about it, where it was like if they heard the fans chant boring, it's like, oh, you want boring? Okay. Then they would like just hit a headlock for 10 minutes.
Randy Orton hitting a
headlock. That wasn't him, but that was what brought up the conversation. It was somebody else.
Probably Terry Funk.
Or Harley Race or something.
Yeah.
Dick Murdoch. They did 29 matches.
Actually, I think it was Dick Murdoch.
And they did 28 last year. So it was basically the same. But you know what? The funny thing is, I keep track of all the scores and everything, right? So all the ratings. They were actually down 10% this year. They averaged 4.07 stars last year, and it was 3.66 this year.
I have no problem with the story.
That's my nerdy geek stuff for you.
I have no problem with the story, Paul. I just want you to tell me that you're telling it.
Oh, hey, you want a bit of a scoop here?
Sure.
Okay, this is going to be in my article on Fight Game Media that is going to be coming out later this week. Top 25 wrestlers of the year, according to Match Quality. Okay. Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, Seth Rollins. Number 4 will surprise you. Eddie Kingston, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Cash Wheeler ahead of Dax Harwood. I think Dax had a couple singles matches that brought it down a bit. Konosuke Takeshita, Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Kazuchika Okada.
Hold on for a second. Please hold your applause, everybody, until Paul reads all the nominees' names. Thank you.
Okay.
Go.
Well, these are in order.
I'm just
Kyle Fletcher, Jon Moxley, Ilya Dragunov, Kevin Owens, Jacob Fatu, Trick Williams coming up at 18, Nathan Frazier, Hangman Page, Randy Orton, Axiom, Josh Alexander, Christian Cage, and rounding out the top 5, Julia. And the top 10 women, Julia, hang on, I had it here. Julia, Becky, Mercedes, Stephanie Vacour, Io Sky, Bayley, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Asuka, Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
Pretty good list, I think. Like when you just kind of narrow it down, like you may disagree with the placements or whatever, but I don't think I missed anyone.
No, the women's list is fantastic.
But Bucks didn't make it though.
Although, wait, Mercedes didn't make your top 10 women?
No, she was like number 3.
Okay, never mind.
And you know what? You may forget she had a couple not great matches when she first debuted. Like there was a couple disappointing ones she had with Hikaru Shida that I recall. But anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there. That'll be on fightgamemedia.com later this week. And I'm also going to have my top 30 matches of the year as well. So
30 is a nice round number.
30 is the number of matches I gave 5 stars to. So, but I'm going to rank them. I've got tiebreakers and stuff. But number 1, spoiler alert, is MJF and Bryan Danielson from Dynamite.
Okay.
We talked about that last week, I think.
Yes.
All right. All right. So I think that's. So they simulcast on Max this year, and by the way, this is officially branded. I should have mentioned at the beginning of the show, but this is the mother of all podcasts. This show here, first one on Fight Game Media this year.
Okay.
Well, because the show we were watching was the mother of all simulcasts.
Did you enjoy World's End?
I, for the most part, it wasn't perfect. There were some great matches, and there was some stuff that I have no idea why it was even on pay-per-view. And so if you took away that stuff, I think I would have been one of the better pay-per-views of the year. But with that stuff in there, I can't say it was.
I watched it yesterday, so it's still sort of fresh in my head, and I liked it for what it was. It felt a little lacking in heat, but overall it was a good.
I think if you would have taken the MJF Cole match off the show, it would have been a far better show. Yes. And not just for that match, but they did blood. Like why? You did heavy blood in the first match.
They tried, Paul. I mean, you can't fault them for trying to take a dead angle and trying to make it heated.
And then you know what the other thing was? They had Will Ospreay cut one of the best babyface promos you're ever
gonna hear. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
because I said
with
this
the blood streaming down his face, and then they cut to the ring, and it's Jamie Hayter or whoever it was, Thunder Rosa and Mariah May in a hardcore street fight with no blood. That was a choice,
and which had no real stakes because nobody cared about Thunder Rosa in that match.
Well, I mean,
which
had the world title.
But also, look, let me go back to that point because it was the one thing that stuck out to me. And Jarrett, of course, threw cold water on my point, and he was correct to do so. That promo is what AEW has been lacking. A guy, basically a babyface, going, "I need the help of the people to overcome this. I need the people." Someone who connects with the actual audience as opposed to saying, "I'm doing a good match, you people should love me," or "I'm here for the company." It was as Dusty / Cody Rhodes as a promo has been in AEW in quite some time. And it was fantastic. And it's what I want. Yes, he's bleeding. He's tired. And if you people can help me get through this. And then he lost. That's what Jarrett reminded me of. It's like Jarrett goes, and then he lost. I was like, God, that's right.
You know what? What's funny is the remember that promo that someone had sent me that Will had said after the show on like on the last taping at Hammerstein, and it was like basically begging the fans to cheer. I almost wonder if maybe it was that kind of promo and he just misunderstood it. Because I think you even had said that, or someone in the chat might have said that maybe something was lost in translation, and he was actually trying to do that kind of promo, like we're giving our all for you, and we just want to hear you cheer us on.
That's bad. That's needy. This wasn't needy. This came from a position of strength in some ways, but
you could tell it was from the heart too, because the last line was, to quote Tony Khan, "Let's fucking go." Like I mean, it's goofy, but it worked.
It wasn't perfect, but it was still it's the kind of thing they need. We need baby faces that people actually cheer for and get and connect with the audience. That's the problem, is the wrestlers aren't connecting with the audience at all. The audience knows their role. The audience is chanting, and we'll get into that a little bit because I also think Ricochet did a very strong thing this week for his heel character. And they know how to play their role.
He did.
The audience.
Yeah, no, he did. I don't know about. Well, we'll get to it.
I didn't say it was perfect. I said it was an improvement.
He was good. There was stuff that was wrong with that segment, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
but it wasn't him. He did everything he should.
So we start out with the Pointer Sisters. I'm
so excited. You know where I first heard that song?
Bill Watts? No,
the movie Summer Lovers, which came out in 1982, starred Daryl Hannah and Peter Coyote. That's how old this song is.
I'm like, if he does Neutron Dance next week from Beverly Hills Cop, the original, 1985. So that's 1982. That's like bumper music from like old Mid-South almost. Like if he plays Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy, I'm here for this. I'm here for that. It's too cute though. It's too ironic. It doesn't fit.
I think he's just spending his money. He's flexing.
I think so. Look, don't get me wrong. I think he is, but number one, I am the guy who thinks that there's an important relationship between actual songs and professional wrestling fandom. I do. I think it's very important, and I like the idea. I would pick something a little bit more modern. You don't need to go Linkin Park on me, but
Garrett suggested using Jump for a Will Ospreay video package.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
No, those are the types of things I like, but it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, what image are you trying to portray here? And you're trying to portray that you're the new hot thing. You need new hot music. You need something from the Warner Brothers roster of new artists, much like when Paulie was basically stealing songs with no attribution. It made ECW cool when they were playing like Connection by Elastica.
When did you start watching wrestling? Like 1982, 83?
I started watching in 1984, I believe.
Okay, so this would be like as if they would have put music from 1942.
Yes,
behind
they'd be doing the Lindy Hop for
Frank Sinatra. Like
Fly Me to the Moon and something.
Glenn Miller. Actually, Swing the Moon would be pretty good for a video package. I could see Bill Watts doing that. All right. There's an idea for Kenny.
Too Cold Scorpio doing like the bomb for that. Yeah.
Okay. He could do Return of the Man. All right. We had the crowd of 3,000.
Well, hold on. Transferring heat. Half the Pointer Sisters are dead. All right.
Oh, that's too bad. Rest in peace, Bonnie. Assuming she's one of them. Crowd of 3,332 at the venue debut in Asheville here. And they opened with "I'm So Excited," and then they ran down the card, which was nice. And because I didn't remember. One is alive. Okay. And I won't run it down here because we're going to run it down.
I was shocked by this because I was shocked they did not do a full recap of World's End up at top. They kind of sprinkled it through the show, and I found it less effective.
I do too. Like when they did the Mox promo, I kind of thought that was going to kind of serve as the recap video, and it was really.
I thought it was the entrance to it. I agree with you.
The Mox promo was just the same old shit he says every single time.
It's actually the WWE We're Taking Over week 6 promo where they haven't really taken over and they haven't really said what the point of all this is.
Well, and he flat out said we're not taking over because we have already taken over.
Yes. Well, okay, that's fine, but I still don't understand the point of this entire faction, to be honest.
He pointed out, he finally acknowledged Marina's presence.
Yes.
That she took a bullet and she's a woman of integrity.
No longer a MacGuffin. Thank you very much.
He brought up the point that he grabbed that title originally. He dragged the company through a pandemic. And then he says now he's going to melt the belt down and destroy it. He says he knows Adam Copeland. Maybe that's why Copeland changed his name. He said, we're not rebels because no one has authority over us. I'm the king. And tonight you're just the loudest guys in the room.
You think you know him. Not anymore. My name's Cope. Oh, never mind. Changing the song.
Then they got a rated FTR promo. He said the Death Rider. Yeah, they're getting the fight of their life tonight. We fight for these people. You want to try and take out my friends? It's 2025. First Dynamite streaming on Max. At World's End, I saw Fear. I'm sicker than all of you, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So it's a good start to the show.
Yeah,
I thought. And then they opened with a match that I had no idea was happening. Apparently, it was announced, I think, this afternoon, maybe yesterday. Orange Cassidy and Hangman Page. I guess they were in the match at the pay-per-view. In case you missed the pay-per-view, Mox beat them and Jay White. Pinned Jay White, who's probably getting the next title shot. Well, maybe not. Actually, we'll get to that. I don't know what's going on with this title.
Yeah. Okay.
They plugged Max thing over and over again. They brought up the 2019 archive. They promoted Max's archive harder than they've ever promoted a pay-per-view. I
think they were trying hard. I think they also know they probably had more of an audience due to the unfortunate circumstances in New Orleans.
Yeah, the bowl game got canceled or not
tomorrow.
Right?
It's gonna be tomorrow.
I think they went up against the end of the game.
They went up against the end of the Rose Bowl, but the Rose Bowl was a blowout by then.
Okay, so but then there's probably a lot of people watching news too. But we'll see. We'll get the audience tomorrow, and if it's bad, everyone's just going to say, "Oh, they were all watching on Max." This match was, I mean, Orange Cassidy got a lot of his like spots in, and Hangman did a bunch of kickouts, and then he hit a beach break, then he hit 2 orange punches, and then Hangman was setting up a buckshot. He hit him with another orange punch, which is basically a Superman punch. And so he gets hits with 3 of like, basically it's like his secondary finisher. And then Hangman just hit him with a buckshot and pinned him, which, like he kind of looked like a chump, but I think Hangman needed this win a lot more than Orange, was hurt by the loss, in my opinion. So, it's a good win for Hangman. Crowd was kind of up and down through this. Like they were death quiet at times, but they popped for all the big spots.
I'll tell you why, because there were mixed messages throughout this match.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, we start out. Hold on. We start out with Orange Cassidy coming out to the Pixies song instead of Jane, which is his more darker version of Orange Cassidy, I guess. Now, when he uses that song,
I have no idea. I
have no idea about that. But then after the match, Hangman, who we have now been told by certain people, well, he's a babyface now.
Nope.
There's a beat down of Orange Cassidy after the match. So that's what they were cheering him as a babyface, thinking that the redemption story was on. And then he just goes back to kind of being a heel.
And now it looks like he's going to be feuding with Christopher Daniels, because Daniels makes the save.
Yes, because we need the button on that story.
Yeah, so Daniels makes the save, and then Hangman beats the shit out of him. And meanwhile, like last week, we did that promo in the back where he says, "Oh, I got your back in the main event," and then he wasn't there.
Yes,
so I have a feeling that's going to be Hangman's promo. You said you were going to be there for me, and you weren't there, so that's why
there was nobody else out there for anybody. Either.
I know.
Okay.
Well, except for the Death Riders, they were all there.
Well, yes.
And they were freely interfering. But as Mox said, you have no authority over me. We do what we want. So okay.
And also, Kenny came back. He was the interim vice president until Kenny came back. Kenny comes back. He no longer has any authority.
Except apparently he does. Because Tony Schiavone was clear to point that out. Even though he's
not
an
AEW, if only there was television to explain
he's
this
still
somehow.
An AEW official. Yeah.
What does that mean? Mookie's an official. You don't see him out there.
Who? Oh, Mookie? Man, yet. Oh, God. I'm
here for the Mookie push.
I was happy with the fact that they gave Hangman a clean, decisive win. But what I would say, and I was actually going to make this point at the beginning, and I didn't think of it until now because I thought of it before we started recording. But this show, like on its own, like if you just watch the show and all you're doing is you don't watch every week and you're just evaluating this show on its own, I thought the show was pretty entertaining on its own. But if you actually try to make sense of it based on where things are probably going and where we're coming from, there's so much stuff on the show that doesn't make any sense.
Yes, that's the problem, is that the wrestling is very good and the angles were good and everything, it's all that. It's just, it made no sense. To be Adam Pearce is fantastic, by the way.
Lady
I wish I had thought of it.
Wins the internet for today. As a Hangman, we should give her super chat money for this.
Yes.
As a Hangman fan, I just want him in big feuds for the title picture. I will be annoyed if he has a match with To Be Adam Pearce.
That is coming to Collision, baby.
Oh yeah. They're gonna you just call him Tap. I just watched Taps yesterday, by the way.
He can reference, SCU again in another promo. They're no
longer
here.
See you later. So that was that. And Tony Schiavone made clear to point out, well, that's just the kind of man he is. After we saw him last year blow up someone's home. So
okay, fine. So it's not a redemption story. So why are we trying to?
I don't know.
Giving mixed message. Don't get me wrong. I actually liked the commentary this week more than other weeks because there was only 2 people there instead of the third guy trying to crack wise.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. So it was just X and Tony.
It was just Excalibur and Tony. There was no Nigel and no Taz
and no Matt Menard. Thank God.
No Matt Menard. No, it was perfectly cromulent commentary. I thought.
Then we get a Jay White interview. Hell of an interview, I thought. Huh. He said the 2025 not starting off like I wanted. I was supposed to be AEW World Champ. He blamed Wheeler for costing the match. He said because he hit Mox with the Blade Runner and then Wheeler pulled the ref off. So he told us exactly what happened. He will show him how he feels over and over again. and I got a path to Jon Moxley. I'm going to win the Casino Gauntlet tonight, or I'm going to win the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet. And then next week, I'm going to win the Casino Gauntlet. Roddy Strong and Strickland, you're just victims in the way. It's I thought it was great promo.
It was great. At this point, I raise a practical question.
Yeah, and
if the point is to be the number one guy in this gauntlet match, and again, I hate that we're having multi-person matches to get into a multi-person match. It's just stupid.
They've done it before, but yeah.
That said, the logical match is the 3 losers of the main event from Saturday.
Yeah. And then only one of them gets in.
Yes.
The other 2, not only are not
SOL.
number 1, they are not even in. Like that should have been the stiff.
Yes.
Yeah. Because then we had a debate about this in the Discord, and if you want to join the Discord, send GG at FightGameMedia.com an email, and he'll get you in. But people were saying like, well, why would you want to be number 1? Well, because it's the only way to guarantee you're in the match.
It's dumb. Don't get me wrong. It's still dumb, but it may at least make
in their own internal logic. They've made it make sense, and they've actually shown people
all these guys in this 3-way. I think are going to be in this match nonetheless.
Yes.
I think
that's the problem. If there were stakes, and that's how you get away from this. Like, the number 1, you're number 1 because you know what? You just had a world title match and you lost. So you get a shot, but it's not a great shot. You're number 1
but it's still a shot. Yes.
Right. The other 2, you're out of luck. You don't. And meanwhile, Roddy Strong, if he doesn't get in, he's just going to go complain to Tony Khan. He'll get a title shot the next week because he's already done that.
And transferring is of course correct. Yes, Jay White just took the loss at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and he's probably going to win this gauntlet. He's probably going to win. Actually, I think Hangman's going to win the gauntlet.
That would be ridiculously stupid.
Hangman?
I'm sorry. I get that they're going to be in Australia and all that other stuff. If that's the case,
no, the title shot is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in Moxley's hometown. So I think you want to have a heel get the title shot because Moxley's going to get cheered in Cincinnati.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be Hangman. But
so he's going to be a heel that week. Okay, good.
Who? Oh, Hangman. Yeah. Next up, we got the Acclaimed and Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. And so this was great. I'm sorry.
This was fantastic.
They did an insert promo. They didn't rap on the way to the ring. Then they showed an insert promo. Bowen said he was close to beating Jericho on Rampage. I watched that match. He wasn't. Then Caster had accidentally hit him, and he asked him if it was on purpose. Caster said, "I didn't. No, it wasn't." He says, "We got to be serious now. No scissoring, no rap. We need to focus." And he's going on, and Bowen's just walked out on him in the middle of the promo. So they pointed out that the Acclaimed had the most tag team wins in AEW. The Hurt Syndicate are the total baby faces here. Crowd's just into everything they do. MVP's on commentary. Tony Schiavone says, or they talk about the golden ticket that they gave Max Caster. He says, "Is that ticket still valid?" And MVP's like, "Nope. He took too long to answer. So I asked Bobby and Shelton, and they said, no, he's a loser. We don't want him."
Okay, well, I think that's actually a good move.
It was.
No. I don't mean in story-wise. I mean in saying it on television to get it out of the way, because my thinking was that there was going to be these 2 losers, Max Caster and Ricochet, fighting for the love of the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, I don't think that's where this is going at all.
I don't think that's where it's going at all anymore anyway. So I thought that was good to at least clarify that, yes, Max Caster is no longer eligible to get into the Hurt Syndicate.
I do think we're going to see Ricochet in Hurt Business, but we'll get to that.
Hurt Syndicate. Hurt Business is a trademark of the World Wrestling Entertainment. All rights reserved.
You're right. But this match was exactly what it should have been. Lashley just beat the shit out of Max Caster. Then he tagged in Shelton Benjamin. He did the same. Bowens was trying to break it up, and they were just looking at him like, no. And they just took turns beating on this poor fool. And then Bobby speared him and pinned him.
Max missed his cue.
Oh, really?
When Bowens came in to do his 5-move thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
And do the thing. He was supposed to tag him that first time, and then Shelton just basically goes, "Do it again." And Max finally remembers he needs to tag in.
I saw the do it again thing. I missed. Okay.
I didn't hear the do it again, but it was just obvious to me that yes, Max was supposed to steal the tag on when he came across the ropes, and Bowens was absolutely thrown off by it. and then Shelton calms him down, says, "Do it again."
I was just so happy that they just did, and this was like the second time, because I think wasn't there like a Max Caster Bobby Lashley match at some point where it was like this, and it was just a total destruction.
It was after he got it was the one where he got the card.
Right. Yeah. And it was just a destruction, and that's what that should have been, and that's what this should have been.
I am here for my workout buddy, Anthony Bowens, getting a nice babyface push. I hope he gets to cut some promos. The promo they cut for last Saturday was kind of lame.
That match on Friday was very disappointing.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to see what Bowens could do, and it turned out it was just a story match. So then we go backstage, and Swerve was interviewed by Scoops, Alex Marvez. I guess Renee had the night off. And he says, "I still hear them. They're all screaming my name. I'm distracted, but I got to get back to doing what I do best. I'm going to show people why 2024 belonged to whose house." And there's no reaction because the fans couldn't hear the promo, apparently. And he was playing for reactions that he wasn't getting. I think he finally figured it out.
They were too busy chanting whose house, Swerve's house, and they weren't listening to the promo.
Well, I don't think they could hear the promo. I really don't. Too. Yeah, that's what I think. And then he pointed out, Marvez pointed out to him that he's never been in a casino gauntlet before, and he says, and then honestly, you know why that is? That's because I was the champ.
No, because Swerve said, "You know why that is?" And
Marvez
goes, "Because you were the champ." No, that was a good line. If I was staging this, if I was getting producer notes, I would have told Swerve to do this promo into the camera versus to Alex Marvez. I don't think it was as effective.
Yeah,
I think Nana just clowning in front is taking away from Swerve's aura.
Oh, and then Nana had to end the promo by saying Happy New Year's,
and doing his dance.
Yeah. I hope at some point he just gets rid of him, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think he's going to have to, in order to see. Everybody was saying he's the breakout star this year, and I'm just like, no, he's more like a DX/Enzo Amore type act where people can sing along with they can do the dance and they can chant whose house, Swerve's house,
but disguised as a top guy. I'm not sure.
Well, he had the title. He wants to ask when AEW stopped doing linear booking. And I was like, they've never really done linear booking.
No, it's just their fans explaining Tony's booking.
They put it together in their heads and they tell you that makes sense.
And I'm sure they'll do that now.
Yes,
they can go back and they can make sense of some of these storylines that we don't think make sense. Next we got Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart, early contender for 2025 worst match of the year. This was terrible.
As you go through it, I'll sing Jamie Hayter's theme song quietly. Dun, dun, dun.
I just wrote down the match is real clunky. She hit a hate breaker for 2. Julia jumped on her, went for a lion salt. Jamie rolled out. Julia tripped her. Julia went for some weird submission. Jamie picked her up and dropped her. Julia punched out of it. I wrote, this is really bad. She dropped her on her knee. Then she hit her haterade, but they called it a sliding lariat. Put her on the top, started punching her stomach. Julia dropped her on her head. Julia was holding her shoulders. Then she just appeared. She grabbed an arrow from under the ring, brought it into the ring. Aubrey took it away. Julia took that opportunity to miss Jamie Hayter and got the pin. This was awful.
Everything about this match frustrated me to no end.
Oh,
I don't understand Jamie Hayter's ring gear. It looks dumb to me. I'm sorry for her gimmick of.
I mean, she's got a great ass.
Look, I'm not denying that.
I'm just quoting Al Pacino movie lines. That's all.
Yeah, I get that, but the plaid,
Yeah.
I want her to be when she came back to that
Becky Lynch
pop in London. She was mad over, and now it's the Daphne thing in some ways from that joke. Julia, don't get me wrong, her facials are fine, but her offense is weak. It's so.
Am I remembering wrong? Wasn't she good before she got injured?
Like when she's doing when she's doing a basic trip, it doesn't even look like she's pushing Jamie to do the trip. She just did that. I don't know. She's gotten better gear. Don't get me wrong. On this run, I like her gear a lot more than the spooky witch stuff that she was doing in terms of, she had the same witch gear she was coming out to the ring in. It was just, but this did not click at all. I'm almost upset that we wasted Jamie Hayter's return on this dumb angle.
You want to know something else too? I was wondering, because I remember when she started to get over, remember it was either Buddy or Brody in her corner. And it was one or the other, usually Brody, but sometimes Buddy.
Yes.
You remember, was it Full Gear? They had that 4-way match on the pre-show. And we thought, the winner should get into the Continental Classic. And 2 of the losers ended up getting into the Continental Classic.
Yes.
Buddy Matthews won that 4-way.
Yes.
He was super over. The crowd was going nuts for him. And I'm like, when Juice got injured, why didn't they just put Buddy Matthews in the tournament? And then I was like, wait a minute, where is Buddy Matthews? He was getting over. You know where he is? They gave him a couple months off so he could go to Australia and spend the holidays with his family, which is really nice of Tony to do. But
it's a nice work-life balance there in AEW. It just kills your television. That's all.
He's just going to wait there until February, I assume, when the rest of his
he's going to be a
surprise
entrant in some gauntlet match in the Australia pay-per-view to make his return.
And then he'll get over, and then we won't see him again because he's going to stay in Australia to spend more time with his family. When I heard that Tony just gave him the holidays off, like,
here's
he
the other
been
thing.
in the C2. Like,
we gave Jamie Hayter a couple of squash matches, which was good.
Yeah.
We did not give Julia Hart a couple squash matches to get over any sort of new aggressive offense that she might be wanting to debut in an actual match or anything like that. This is all conditioning and stuff like that. And it's just this. We're back to Julia blowing mist in people's face again.
Oh, yeah. She was doing that before. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Isn't that how she originally churned with some blue mist in her face, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So is Jamie Hayter going to turn because you got misted?
It depends what color.
Are we going to do this whole Willow thing again, except with Jamie Hayter this time?
Maybe.
Oh God.
I think Jamie Hayter could churn though. It'd probably be better for her.
She'd be a great heel. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we don't want.
I honestly thought
we want like hardcore offense Jamie Hayter. We don't want storyline Jamie Hayter.
At one point, I'd say like right after she returned, I thought Jamie was going to be the person that was eventually going to take Mercedes' belt.
I did too. I thought she was going to take, or even Mariah's.
No chance now.
None. Zero.
Yeah.
Nada.
Probably Willow at this point. All right, we got a video package for Ospreay and Fletcher, and this was kind of weird because it just recapped their history. It wasn't even really about anything, and there was really no reason for it.
It was a video package to say they're tied.
Yeah, that's it. So
what?
Then they went to commercial. Yeah, they're 2-2, I think.
No, it was 1-1.
Really? I think they got 3 matches. I'm almost positive.
I don't know.
No, they absolutely did. Because remember, they had the one match when he first debuted.
They might have, but they ended the video with Will Ospreay putting up the 2 fingers for 1-1.
Except they're not 1-1. Will's beat him twice. Look it up. I just did my mirror review. 3 matches in the top 30 were Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher.
Shut up, Millhouse. They're 1-1.
All right. Well, whatever. Just saying. We got after the break, we got recaps of Okada's tournament win and Omega's return. Okada cut a promo, said he was the best tournament wrestler alive. Little brother Ospreay, nice try. Kenny, how many times do I have to beat you? Stay out of my business, bitch. And that was that. So it was fine. Tape promo.
I thought the video packages were very good.
I'm sure he's in Japan, even though he's not on that card.
Probably.
But he's probably in Japan just because he lives there. Then we I don't think this was advertised. I don't remember seeing it, but the ring was all red, and Mercedes comes out, her belts are in the middle of the ring, champagne bottles. So I guess it's a champagne celebration, even though that never really played into anything. I guess every once in a while you got to put it there and not have it play into anything, so that when it does, it means
she was not advertised on the graphic.
Okay, there you go. I guess she was there. She showed up for work, and what do you got for me? Oh, okay. Here, we'll cut a couple minutes off this Jamie Julia thing, and you go out there and do your catchphrase and tell us how great your 2024 was. Introduce that video we made for you, and then take off.
This video was fantastic.
It was. So she says, she does her Asheville, say hello to your CEO.
Get
She's
the baby face
installed
pop before being the heel. Yes.
a little bit. She gets more booze than cheers still, but greatest TBS champion to ever exist. What a 2024 I had. AEW put together a very special video package for all of you. Money Mike played the package for the 4 people watching that know who she's talking about. And it was a good video package, really good. They aired they put up like the 10 best women's matches of 2024 from Sports Illustrated. So her and Willow was number 4. Her and Statlander at Full Gear was number 6. And then her and Hazuki at Strong Style Evolved was number 1.
Okay.
So I'm curious what the other 7 were, but
I think number 3,
yeah,
because somebody wrote me about this, was Ivy Nile and Rhea Ripley at day 1. Or whatever it was.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind. Netflix ranks this as number 3 top women's match in Raw history.
Oh, what?
What? All right.
Okay.
I was wrong on both counts, and
Willow and
me feel even
Stat.
worse.
I think Willow and Stat from All Out was probably like number 2 at the very least, if it wasn't number 1. And then there's probably some WWE matches in there too, but
I assume that there's a Japanese match in there with maybe a Saray.
Could be if Sports Illustrated ranks those. But anyways, they come back. She says she's 15-0 in AEW. First stop in the money train is the Tokyo Dome. Wrestle Dynasty, January 5th against Mina Shirakawa. You have something I want, and that's more gold. So I'm coming for that Rev Pro Championships. I thought it was the Progress Championship. I'm really interested to find out what it actually is, but I'm sure Mercedes knows what belt she's going for. She says money changes everything, and I noted they don't tell us how to watch the match or when on January 5th it is. So, because I think it's actually on January 4th our time. I'm almost positive of that. You're on the West Coast, right? I think it starts at like 8:00 on Saturday night.
Okay.
Which would be like, I think 6:00 at night in Japan or something. So yeah, was weird that they didn't actually tell us anything. And they put up a graphic, but it didn't say how to watch. And it is on Wrestle or New Japan World, which again, it's like a $10 a month subscription. And actually, I think it's like $8. And you don't have to pay extra to watch this show. So in case you're interested,
I'm gonna say this. Given that stat match on Saturday, enjoy this run, because she might be the best thing to ever happen to this women's division in AEW, and they're kind of wasting a lot of it with this TNT title when she should be holding the women's title, world title.
I don't think that matters, because
I don't think it matters, but I think she's.
I think the point is the TNT title is more prestigious than the world title.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that was her point in this promo too, actually. And when Jade held that belt, it was the same thing. Like, Jade wasn't having the kind of matches that she is, but she was the most dominant champion they've ever.
She might be the GOAT. She really might. No.
Oh, Mercedes.
I mean,
for women,
in terms of big match, bringing it.
Yeah, she took a little while to get going when she got in here, but the last 4 months has been ridiculous.
If she's calling these matches, I mean, that's even better. I mean, jeez.
She's definitely the best right now, and I wouldn't have said that 6 months ago. So
she's the best they've ever had signed under contract.
For women or overall?
For women.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely. 100%. Yeah.
People will fight me on Rio, but I'll fight you back.
God, they'd be so wrong.
I agree.
I like Rio. Don't get me wrong, but she's so good. All right, we got a Fight for the Fallen video package. It was nice. Tony Khan gave a check. FTR presented it, and it was they had one to the food bank and another to something called the Dream Center. So that was really nice. The people seemed very happy. Then we got Scoops Marvez again with Roddy Strong, and he was with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. And Adam Cole immediately takes over the promo, which nobody wanted to see. He says, this feels damn good. The Undisputed Kingdom is now complete. 2025 is our year. All bases are covered. Trios, tag teams, singles, triple threats. And then Roddy says, tonight I win and guarantee a spot in the gauntlet next week. But remember, when we get there, you two, it's every man for himself. So they're already teasing a breakup with these guys. I
if you are averse to swearing, put on your earmuffs for a few seconds.
Okay.
Fuck this segment. Seriously, what the? We unite them on Saturday, and already Adam Cole, who lost the match, is taking this leadership position and basically speaking for everybody.
And why exactly is Roddy all of a sudden okay with all this? After we spent, or not Roddy, Kyle, after we spent months of him, like with this dilemma.
Hold on. Number 2, the Undisputed Kingdom's now set. And it's those 3. Where are Taven and Bennett, who were there to stand up for their buddy Adam Cole the entire time until they were framed and thrown out? Are we going to turn them heel on the basis that Adam Cole just no?
No. And
get all these vanilla guys off my screen. I'm tired of them.
I am so done with these guys. And I have put it this way. I have liked them all at different times in the past.
I liked the Undisputed Era. Don't get me wrong. It was a great stable.
Stand these guys now. Oh my God.
I want something different from each and every one of them. I do. It's one of those things where it's like all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I want all 3 of them to yes. The Kingdom is now no longer part of the Undisputed Kingdom, I guess.
What about Wardlow?
We're gonna have a feud over the Kingdom name. Oh, it's gonna be so fantastic. Loser doesn't get to use the Kingdom anymore.
Yeah, and you know who's gonna be the new king?
Bobby Fish.
MJF.
MJF. Oh God. Oh, we're never gonna escape this cycle.
To Roderick Strong against Jay White against Swerve Strickland. Winner gets the number 1 spot in next week's Casino Gauntlet. Winner of that gets a world title shot at Maximum Carnage in 2 weeks. Did you get all that? There'll be a test later.
Okay, I was unsure what Maximum Carnage was.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so you're not the only, because when I brought that up,
I thought it was a pay-per-view that I was unaware of. One of these new pay-per-views that they're now going to do monthly.
Play on Tony's business partner and the streaming service, Maximum Coverage. Get it? Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a special name for a show that tickets went on sale today, and it's in 2 weeks.
Where's it being held?
Cincinnati, in a small building, so they'll probably sell out.
They moved from. I think they moved it from Cincinnati to Kentucky.
I don't know. I just know that.
I'll have to ask my friend Sean Ross.
Yeah. Now this match, if you put Roderick Strong, Jay White, and Swerve Strickland, who are all among the best wrestlers in the world, and you said go out there and try to have the worst match that you possibly can, I'm not sure they could have done a worse job than this. And it wasn't that they screwed anything up or anything. This match was it was boring. The fans didn't react to anything because none of these guys, like Swerve is over, but he wasn't here. Roderick Strong, nobody has a clue what to think about him. And same with Jay White. He's a baby face, but he never really churned. Same with Roddy.
You have 3 baby faces in the match, and all 3 of them are of questionable
moral character.
Moral character, yes.
Yeah. So this match just went on. People were doing stuff. I wrote down a bunch of shit, but none of it matters.
No, that's the best explanation. People were doing stuff.
Yeah,
there was no salt on any of these punches or moves
at one point,
or anything.
Swerve did something that sounds super cool on paper. He got onto the barricade and he ran across the barricade, booted Jay White's head off, and you'd think the crowd would have just exploded. Nothing. No reaction to this. It was ridiculous. And then all of a sudden Jay White disappeared. Swerve's looking for him. Then all of a sudden, while he's looking for Jay White, out comes Ricochet from the crowd, and he's wearing you remember that goofy suit he wore
about a month ago? His suit game. He is up the suit game.
MVP bought him a suit. Let's just get that out of the way. This suit was fly.
We went from 1970s Macy's to custom made finally.
Yeah, and he looked great. He was wearing his glasses, which made him look like a nerd, but it also made him look meaner later.
This is fantastic.
He's got a gigantic pair of golden scissors. Not sure why, but doesn't matter. And then Roddy rolled. What did I? Oh no, Swerve disappeared again because I think he went to Blade. And then Jay White goes in the ring, finds Roddy Strong, hit him with the Blade Runner, and won. So that was over. Match is done. Jay White's in the gauntlet. Now we can get to why the whole match was here in the first place.
Yes.
Like I wrote down, like I was really disappointed by the match, but it set up an awesome angle. So, you can't have it all. Then, so Ricochet stood on the barricade. Swerve was busted open at this point, and, because he had bladed. Ricochet's just stalking him. So he approaches him with the scissors. Nana gets in the way. Ricochet just tossed him into the steps, I think is where this happened, right? Then jammed the scissors into his forehead, starts beating the shit out of him, get blood all over his suit. Tony Schiavone's like right there, and he says, "This is gross." Fans are chanting, "You sick fuck." Oh, yeah, I grabbed a chair, threw him into the ring. This is where Nana tried to get involved, and he just got pushed into the steps, laid out. So Ricochet brings a chair into the ring, sits on the chair, headbutt Swerve twice, put Swerve in the chair, and then he hit the spear gun, which is basically like a running clothesline. And then the Undisputed Kingdom, of all people, show up to save Swerve. And so it's Cole, Strong, and Kyle. And this got no reaction when they showed up to save him, like none.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've never seen a baby face who is over get beat down in a heated segment like this, and when baby faces make the save, get no reaction. I'm almost impressed that they were able to pull this off somehow, to have nobody react. Like, what was going on here?
The button on this also wasn't good, with Ricochet doing the laugh. But the one thing that was good is the fans in their disjointed irony chanting "You sick F."
Yeah.
Although I've already dropped an F-bomb earlier in the show. I don't know why I'm censoring myself now. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite.
You're a good man.
I can't help it. They did the right thing, and then they just had Ricochet up the damage he was doing to get past the ironic cheers, because the point of this is to get him booed. It's not for the audience to go, "Oh, don't you do that. Clap, 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 clap," or whatever the hell they're trying to do. You're trying to get boos as a heel. And it was effective to me throughout the segment until he did the laugh. And if he had just been badass Ricochet with the glasses, glowering at him and angry and stalking his prey and being really pissed off about what happened on Saturday, and then just leaving kind of angry and badass, would have been so much better for this character than the laugh. The laugh goes back to being the geek.
You know what would have been better than the laugh? If he would have looked in the camera and said, "Did I hurt him enough for you, Montel?" And then walked away. Okay, would you like that?
I would have liked that.
Then that would have given away the surprise, though.
I would, you know what? If he had turned to the camera and just dropped an F-bomb and say "F him," and then walked away, that would have been the most badass thing I've ever seen.
But I guess he's not really going for badass. When Swerve got saved,
he was up until the point of the laugh, though, because the glasses and the suit, he was, dude. I was buying it, man. I was.
When Swerve got saved, if you could look at Swerve's face and read his body language and I think in his mind, he's looking at Cole, he's looking at Roddy, he's looking at Kyle, and he wants to drop these fools. but he knows, like, okay, I can't right now. They just saved me. I guess I gotta play nice, but like, he wants nothing to do with these guys.
Getting beat down. It's like if Dusty got beat down, the Mulkeys came to help him.
You know what? The Mulkeys are cool. This would have been like if
nobody expects him to save anybody either.
Tommy Rich and Bobby Eaton when they were in the York, when they had just churned from the York Foundation.
Yes.
Like, like just the coldest baby faces you could ever.
Brad Armstrong and Tim Horner in for the save.
Miz, babyface Miz making the save.
Babyface Miz is a good call.
This was just bad. Like, just being anywhere in the same universe as these three brings Swerve's
bigger than
cool factor down. I was not happy with that, but I am looking forward to the revenge, because Swerve's going to get his revenge, and I'm here for it.
I want them to percolate a little more. I don't want them to go straight to like a
no.
match or something.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. Oh, they're going to a death match.
Oh, they're going to like scissors on a pole match or something.
Yeah, scissors up your ass match is what it's going to be. All right, Alex Marvez again was with Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt, and Jeff Jarrett shows up. It's a big night for him. He wants to know where Karen is. Dutt asks him, "Are you sure?" Lethal says, "Whatever you're planning, we support you 100%. I should point out, they set this up on the World's End pre-show.
Yes, they did.
Jeff Jarrett promised an announcement, and unless you're the dumbest moron in the universe.
I'm sorry, this peaked with Mark Henry. We can't do the fake retirement gimmick
Not
anymore.
A person on earth thought he was retiring. Although actually some people did.
And I am a Jeff Jarrett apologist.
So he said, we want to make sure you're sure about this. Karen shows up, said, "I need a minute. This business is what brought us together. It almost completely broke you at times. I know this is what's in your heart, and that's what makes it so hard. But what you want, I want. We're unbreakable." Then they hugged, and she handed him his boots. So that was nice. Then, wait a minute, what? Oh, I was expecting the Jeff Jarrett thing to come next, and then the very next thing I see is Mariah with her belt. I'm like, what? But they did a promo with backstage, and this was a good promo.
No, she's great.
She said, "I was told not to say bad things about the women's division." She looks at the camera and smiles. "I think the women's division is great. How was that?" That was like, great. She said, "I had more matches in the last year than any other woman. No other woman cracked the top 10. Well, if you had more matches, then I guess that makes sense. But maybe she was talking about overall top 10. I don't know. And she says, and who are these women? She says, "I can't remember who they are because I was doing my job better than any other woman alive. I left a trail of broken hearts, bodies, and minds. I made it too easy." She says, "I don't have epic matches. I am epic." I'm like, Jeff must have loved that line. She says, prove yourself to me. I'm the woman from hell. I'm still standing on your necks. You're going to have to work for it. You can't touch me, but I'd love to see you try. It was awesome. God. I mean, I have no idea. I don't ever take this belt off of her. Like, I know it's going to be Tony in Australia, but speaking of, where is Tony? I guess she's not a big enough star yet to be on the Max premiere.
She and Britt are watching bowl games together.
Oh, God. Really? Like, for real?
No.
Oh, Britt.
Penn State's in the tournament. That's all I know.
No one cares.
Britt cares. She went to Penn State.
I know. Out comes Jeff Jarrett, and his boots are in the middle of the ring and his guitar. He says, "Slappy New Year, Asheville. I've been trying to put the words together. I've got tons of emotions. I've got gratitude. So many things to be thankful for." Fans start chanting Double J. So it's sad for me to start thinking about things coming to an end. When I started thinking about how everything began, started in 1946, downtown Nashville. My grandmother sold tickets, and that decision changed my father's life and my entire family's life forever. She parlayed that job into multiple high-risk, high-reward positions. She became the CFO of Tennessee Wrestling. My dad promoted the shows. He wrestled. He became the most popular wrestler and bought the promotion. After a series of high risks and high rewards, he promoted for 40 years. Then came 1986 when I got into this industry, and I made my first high-risk, high-reward decision against my family's wishes, playing college basketball. I dropped out of school and started my career. And then I had one more decision. And I got to say, like, as he's going through all this, the fans were bored. Some people were heckling him. He talked for too long. I love Jeff Jarrett. He was the 2024.
It was a swerve that nobody bought.
Yeah. No, and he just went on too long. But he says, in 2002, I bet on myself. I launched my own promotion, and this brought up a TNA chant. In my professional opinion, we produced some of the greatest professional wrestlers of all times. And that brings me to tonight. He picked up his boots. And he says, as a 12-time world champion, a 2-time Hall of Famer, I got to ask, should the last outlaw ride off into the sunset? Crowd's chanting no. And he says, and the answer is hell no. Because the thought that keeps going through my mind, when you take the biggest risks, you got to go for the biggest reward. I signed my very last professional wrestling talent contract. I re-signed with All Elite Wrestling. The Last Outlaw wants one more ride. And I'm not just talking about any ride. The Last Outlaw wants AEW Gold, not trios titles, not tag titles. I'm talking about the biggest risk of my career. And I could fall flat on my face, but put my ass in that gauntlet. January 1st, 2025, the Outlaws New Year's resolution is that I'm going to become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I love Jeff Jarrett, but good God, no.
I love Jarrett. I hated this, and I think it's going to turn into a heel run where he becomes so obsessed with winning the title that he turns on all his friends. Or
I think it's leading to Joe.
Or I like Joe, but this is one where it's like they did this before with him and the Owen. And if we're going to do the emotional one last ride, one last shot at the title thing, I want him to get murder death by Wardlow coming back or something. Just kill it whatsoever. Because, Edge, Jeff Jarrett, and Christian are your top are some of your top contenders for this world title. What are we doing?
Held by John Moxley, by the way.
Held by John Moxley. This is the senior circuit or the ex-WWE circuit that nobody wanted. And it's like
TNA in 2009.
Don't get me wrong. I love Jeff Jarrett. I loved flaky heel Jeff Jarrett. It was great. Serious main event Jeff Jarrett. I'm not buying.
If you did this exact promo in Ring of Honor, God, I'd be right there for it. Like, he could go for that Ring of Honor title.
In Hammerstein, if he had done this in the Hammerstein for the ROH title, sure, I'd be there for that. But this is something that nobody wants, other than me, except for me. I really want.
Yeah, I know.
I want Jeff Jarrett to be the world heavyweight champion.
I wish you would have just said a single title. You know, like, if you want to give him the TNT title.
Yeah, I can go after the Continental title, which nobody cares about.
Well, no. That's Okada's. He's not beating Okada. Come on.
I know he's not, but he's not beating whoever the world title is.
Well, that's true. Yeah. All right.
Actually, you know what? That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world either. Is he gets so obsessed with winning a world title that he goes after Jericho.
Yeah, that's what and then maybe that's where Joe gets in the way.
Because you know what? That's what the Ring of Honor fan base wants: is Chris Jericho versus Jeff Jarrett.
Well, they didn't want Matt Cardona either. If you watch that match,
I did not watch that. Did they turn on Cardona? Because he's usually
no. They just sat on their hands. They just sat on their hands.
Nobody thought he was winning.
No, it was a bad match too. Like,
was it?
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Because of Jericho or because of Cardona?
Mostly Jericho. Okay. Mostly Jericho. But also they had no heat. Nobody thought Cardona.
Yeah, that's a problem. They need heat in this company, and they don't get it.
No, that is definitely a problem. Commander got a lot of heat. Good heat. No, honestly, it was an awesome match. All right, we got highlights of Hook, getting revenge on Christian's family. Then he beat Nick on Rampage. You heard about what happened on Rampage, eh? The Death Riders canceled the show at the end. So
like the Saturday Night Live set the studio on fire?
More or less. But they also wrote Darby off, and they didn't show highlights of it on Dynamite.
Oh my God.
Did you hear about this?
I heard that they attacked Darby.
So they found Darby backstage. They beat the shit out of him. They Pillmanized his neck, and then John Moxley kicked him down a very steep flight of concrete stairs.
Oh, so they did. They did the Ethan Page thing to him again.
Yeah,
remember when Ethan Page did this to him?
Yeah, and he was gone for a while, wasn't he? When they did that?
Yeah, he was going to climb a mountain.
Yeah, well, I think he's gone. So yeah, they wrote him off, and then they went into the building, and they basically just they started this wild brawl. Then Moxley went at the production truck, and he said, "This is over. Rampage is done, finished, cancel it." It shuts off the things, and the screen went to black, and that was the end of the show forever.
Clever, but
nobody saw it.
Nobody buys it.
Yeah. So anyways, that happened. Then we got a Hook interview. He said, "Christian, I hope you're not looking forward to this. Just like I beat your ass and choked out your son doesn't mean my job is finished. Go ask Nick what it's like being locked in the red room. I'm going to finish what that turtleneck started and choke your ass out. And 2 weeks from tonight in Maximum Carnage, it's going to be Christian and Hook." So finally going to get into that.
Yeah, I'm sure we're getting an end to it.
I hope so.
I don't think we are.
Then we came back and Powerhouse Hobbs in the ring. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And it was just
This was baffling.
Yeah.
He loses Saturday, and we're going to rebuild him up with a 2-on-1 squash. It's like, all right.
2-on squash match against John Cruz.
And we won't see him for 4 months after this.
Or he's just going to do a bunch of squashes, and then he'll be in a gauntlet match that he won't win, and then he'll get injured. John Cruz.
Meat match. We're building the meat match finally.
John Cruz and Rob Kilroy, who I believe is one half of the Ugly Ducklings tag team.
And John Cruz is Serpentico, correct?
Yeah, and they just got destroyed. Spinebuster, both of them, stacked them and pinned them. It was fine. No real point to this at all. They didn't bring up the match on Saturday, and why should they? And yeah, so that was that. Alex Marvez is with Big Bill and Brian Keith. He asked where Chris Jericho is, and Big Bill says, North Carolina. This place is great. And he's like, well, it's good.
You know what he should have done? He should have done the Justin Roberts, North Carolina.
Yeah. But he said, it's great. And he's, oh, it's good. And then Brian Keith said, it's all right. And then, well said, Apple. It's all right. And he says, the Nueve, he's not coming here. And then they see Rated FTR over in the corner. And he says, I don't know who should be more ashamed. You for being proud of Asheville, North Carolina, or Asheville, North Carolina for being proud of you. But like the learning tree always says, home is where you find yourselves. And we find ourselves where the hometown heroes need to be taken down a branch or two. And then Brian Keith says, you Rated R, dumbass. And then Edge, Cope says, did Jericho feed you that line? Says, you're not just a bad apple, you're a tumbleweed. And then he gets in Bill's face, his chest, and looks up at his face and says, your face is stupid. And then Bill's all confused by this, challenge him to a match on Saturday at Collision. And then he says, bye guys. And then after they leave, Bill looks at Keith and he says, we're like identical. Does he not see it?
We're doing Rated
stupid,
FTR or whatever they're calling it. Was it FT Rated R?
No, it's rated. No, Tony kept screwing up the name. It's Rated FTR. It's not that hard.
So we're doing them versus the Death Riders to set up Rated FTR versus the Learning Tree.
No, that's just a squash match.
I get that. It just doesn't make logical sense at a time. But okay.
You have a better point though. They promoted this as the biggest thing on Collision. And all it is a secondary version of what we got on Dynamite. So anyone that tries to tell me that Collision is an important show, you're lying. Because it's not.
It's going up against the NFL.
Yeah, well, it's always going up against something.
My Bengals. Yes.
Yeah. It's always going up against something. You know, the NFL, then it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And then, they're going to have 1 week.
People like to play in the middle of summer because there's that extra hour of sunshine. Thanks, Dave.
They go against WWE all the time. And So. Then we got an MJF interview. Now, if you assume that MJF's a babyface, this was a hell of a promo.
I loved this interview.
He says, congratulations on your big win. He's talking to Cole. Oh, no, that's right. You lost. Took your whole 5-man army to beat me up. Typical. Well, finally, a chapter of Better Than You, baby, is closed mercifully, and it's time for the next chapter. It's time for my retribution. Something was taken from me. I didn't lose it fair and square. My championship, my beloved Triple B, is now being paraded around in a briefcase by a man who is walking around claiming to be the king. Well, Dictator John, what's a king to a god? Because ain't nobody on the level of the devil, and nobody knows that better than you, Johnny boy. I don't have a problem with you. All I want is my championship back, and I'm getting it come hell or high water. 2025, the devil gets his due, part 2. That was great. I mean, he's a babyface, but other than that, it was great.
No, I love this kind of, and I hate to use another piece of pop culture, this War of the Five Kings type of, we're setting up all these guys who want to beat up John Moxley, but for their own various reasons and want to be champ for their. I liked this a lot, and for the love of God, get him the hell away from Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah,
from the Lollipop Guild. or whatever we're gonna call these guys.
The
I
only
don't
like
care.
I feels like this was the setup to something that's coming in like 6 months. So it's not
No,
like
you know what it feels like? It feels like they're gonna put all these guys in that gauntlet match next week.
well, this was too good to just waste it on because if he wins, like you can't just give him a title match in 2 weeks.
He's not gonna win, but it feels like they're all calling out the champ so that they can
Yeah.
then put them in this gauntlet match and then go, oh yeah, we need to book other things.
Yeah.
So we'll just give them title matches after this gauntlet match.
Yeah. I don't want MJF in the gauntlet, honestly. I just want
don't
him
either.
to, I want him to get a title shot. I want him to actually beat Mox, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
I actually want the first 2 people to be the only 2 people in that gauntlet match, and then that's it.
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome. You get I can show Roddy back there again.
Who won the match officially?
Jay White.
Jay White and Serpentico. Boom, flash
Commander.
1, 2, 3. Yes,
Yeah.
Commander.
Yeah. So the main event: Mox, Claudio, and Wheeler versus Team Rated FTR. See, that's the thing is you got to have team in front of it, then it makes more sense. It's better than just Rated FTR.
Yes.
All right. So Adam Copeland is now Cope. His graphic says the Rated R superstar Cope. The announcers just constantly said Cope throughout the match.
God.
And I couldn't even pay attention to anything else.
I hope next week they call him Fetch.
They went through 2 commercial breaks, in a 15-minute match. So most of the match wasn't even on TV. Marina was getting involved. Cope and Moxley. I was like Copley. Cope and Moxley brawled into the fans. Then they went back in the ring. Wheeler was in with him. Cope powerbombed him for 2. Wheeler took like a week to get up. And while he was doing that, Cope is just in the corner getting ready to hit him with the spear. And Mox and Claudio pulled his balls into the ring post. Cash went for a dive. Claudio hit him with an uppercut in midair. That was sweet. Then he laid out Dax. Then they're setting up a powerbomb on the announce desk. Moxley kisses Tony Schiavone. As they're setting up this power bomb, keep in mind, this is a power bomb, which you target someone's back, maybe their necks. Tony Schiavone screams, "He just came back from a broken foot." It's like, okay, what does that have to do with a power bomb? Then while this is all going on, Switchblade laid out Wheeler in the ring. Cope, he just came out of nowhere and did this, by the way. But it doesn't matter because it's I think they said there's no DQ because it's a triple, like a trios match, which makes no sense, but I don't think the refs saw this anyways. Cope body dropped Moxley. Then they focused on Claudio staring up at the Titantron.
Okay, good. It wasn't just me that noticed that he was looking up, and I thought Darby was coming in.
Yes, that's me too. But Copeland, he's watching the footage that they showed the building, but they didn't show us, which was Copeland diving onto Moxley through the thing. It was actually kind of a lame bump, but the camera missed it. Claudio threw I wrote down here. Claudio threw Copeland back in the ring. FTR hit Shatter Machine.
Claudio ran back in, gave an uppercut, threw him back in the ring.
Yeah, okay, that is what happened then. Yeah, FTR hit the Shatter Machine on Yuta, spear by Cope, and he got the pin. And that was that. So yeah, the team rated FTR gets one up on the Death Riders because they had some help from Jay White. And
what a way to put over your world title contender.
Cyclops is better than Wolverine, says. His mama named him Adam. I'm going to call him Adam.
Well, you
God
can then
bless
refer
you.
to if they didn't have 3 Adams in the thing. This is why WWE used to do that renaming stuff all the time.
Adam Cole, Adam Copeland. Yeah, I can.
Adam Page.
Yeah, but they never call him Adam. It's always Hangman. But that's probably why.
But his mama named him Adam. You should call him Adam.
Adam Everett. The Claudio cutaway was a classic AEW production miscue.
Yes, that made me so mad because it's like he's looking up. I'm like, okay, somebody's jumping off from the top. It has to be Darby, right? Oh.
So did you catch the things at the end when they were just plugging the stuff on Collision? So they mentioned Learning Tree versus Rated FTR, which we just seen set up.
Okay,
Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe for the TNT title.
Saw that.
Yeah, I mean. Didn't know about it.
Why not?
Yeah. 2 friends wrestling for the title. Why
I
not?
did notice that Deonna Purrazzo is now doing Southern New Hampshire University online.
Yeah, I don't get the same
ads.
commercials as you. So
Okay.
And then the very last thing, announcers didn't even mention it. Although apparently they said they mentioned it in commentary. I didn't hear it. Maybe it was during the commercials because some people watch on the fight feed.
Lay it on me.
Kenny Omega returns to Dynamite next week. I kid you not, Jeff. Jeff, for those on audio, just he took off his headset. Yeah, he's back next week. No, like if you blinked, you missed it. If I'm not sure if Excalibur even knows. Yeah. So yeah, that's next week. And now people are gonna say, "Oh, they promoted it."
No, they mentioned it. There's a difference between mentioning and promoting.
They didn't even mention it. They put up a graphic.
No,
Jason, they set it up on the pre-show to Full Gear, to World's End.
Yes.
Actually, but I missed it. Apparently they did. They were both on commentary previewing the Continental Classic thing, and at some point I just fast forwarded.
I didn't watch the pre-show.
Well, Mark Briscoe was on the desk for like 7 minutes, and I've never been bored by Mark Briscoe, but I was here. Okay. He was not even doing his voice. He was just talking.
How do you not over promote the fact that Kenny Omega is going to be on your television next week?
They should have been. Baffled. They should have been airing video packages all night. They should have been, like.
We'll see you next week on Raw. John Cena will be there.
I mean, they had the Okada promo, right?
Yes, that would have been the moment to put in a giant full-screen graphic. Kenny Omega will be here next week.
Yes, yeah. Well, I don't think it's his first match. Well, no, she's right, though. She's right. They didn't promote. He's wrestling on Saturday. They didn't tell us.
No, you don't need to promote his first match. You just need to say he's going to be on your TV because he's a star.
Well, except supposedly. He tells it's a secret between him and Dave Meltzer that it's actually an AEW show. You've been catching this? He keeps saying this on Wrestling Observer. Well, Tony told me it's an AEW show, too.
That's what I was told when I kept saying, why isn't his first appearance on AEW television? Well, it's a co-promoted show. Thank you, Mel.
Cena was there. I didn't see him. I don't remember. Did they promote Cena on Raw?
No. I said on Raw. Well, that's the point. You can't see him.
Oh, okay. But they didn't actually promote him.
No.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to your point, but they promote a hell of a lot of other stuff. So the fact
they over-promoted that show for Monday.
Yeah. So if he shows up, I mean, that's fine. Like, that's the thing is, it's sold out. They're going to have probably 5 million people watching. They don't need to promote it. AEW needs to promote Kenny Omega.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. WWE can afford to have
people No, it's just basic. Promote the people you think are stars. They don't have stars on this show. They have people that are good wrestlers that everybody will tell you are the best wrestlers in the world. Doesn't make them stars.
And Lady B corrected me. They did run a video package on Raw for Cena, so I missed.
All right, let's not deconstruct the jokes, kids.
All right,
that's all I'm asking.
But she actually did see it, so
yes, okay.
All right, so Jeff, that was the show.
That was the show, and I actually kind of liked it, even though I just tore it apart.
Well, I liked it as a standalone 2-hour show. As someone that's trying to analyze it and make sense of it, that is where.
As someone who thinks the wrestling on weekly wrestling shows is secondary to the stuff you're doing to build your pay-per-views and make those matches seem important, I thought it was much better than they've been doing of late.
Yeah,
to be
there
honest
was a lot of good promos,
and I'm here for video packages to recap things that maybe everybody didn't get a chance to see because they were watching football that matters.
Like the main event was probably the best match on the show, but it was a whole lot of nothing. Like it was well wrestled, but I don't really.
I thought it helped FTR a little bit because FTR hasn't been on Dynamite in ages.
Yeah, but are you going to remember it? That's the problem.
No, yeah. It's the cromulence problem.
And they're going to do a twice as long version of the same match on Saturday, probably with Chris Jericho and John Moxley's role. Which
I'm hoping we're getting random 80s songs now.
Saturday Night is back on Saturday. Did you see that?
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Bring back the promos at the beginning of the show too.
Inset promos at the beginning. Yes, we should do that. Yeah. And then like next week, like Katrina and the Waves. should be the
I'm
theme.
walking on sunshine.
Yes, sure, why not?
Yeah. So you mentioned current, like what could they do for current? Like you're not going to do like everybody in the bar getting tipsy. Yeah, I can actually see that.
No.
Yeah.
Heck, I wouldn't even mind if you
These
got a current.
beautiful
Here's an idea: have a current artist cover. I'm so excited.
Oh, you could do espresso.
Matthew Wilder. Don't you ever play that song on AEW television? Ain't
Do
nothing gonna break my stride. No. No, I mean, you have look, you have ASCAP fees to pay nonetheless, but you can still get clearance from Warner Brothers Music because you're in the family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and or again, yeah, like you said,
send an intern down to Warner Brothers Music here in lovely Burbank, California.
Yeah,
and go through some songs for some people you have under contract, and pick something. Do what NXT does all the time.
Yes, yeah.
NXT is ahead of the curve a lot of times. They were ahead of the curve on Billie Eilish, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Sexy Red. Another one,
I guess.
Oh, she had a good year.
I don't know how popular Sexy Red is. I just know my co-host hates it.
She had a song in the top 50 on Billboard this year, like for the whole year, top 50, not to like hit the top 50. Like I'm talking, what are the 50 biggest songs of the year? Anyways, enough of the music chat.
There we go. Laura Branigan. We could have Self-Control or Gloria.
Gloria, St. Louis Blues used
Gloria. Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah. There's a lot of 80s songs we could use. Got to get Larry Sternshine in here. He's the 80s.
REO Speedwagon.
Triumph.
Journey.
Loverboy. Working for the weekend.
Loverboy.
I'm not a man. Oh, machine. And then you get like Brian Cage in there.
Notorious.
Yeah.
Every mother's nightmare, every schoolgirl's dream.
I'm picturing the
Cornette used to quote that all the time in his promos for Midnight Express.
Fight for your right. Beastie Boys.
Little Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
That's the old thing for Sting and Eddie Gilbert as a tag team, I believe. Or Sting and Rick Steiner in the UWF. Foreigner. Here for Urgent. Okay, let me get my plugs in. At Crap Game 13 on X. Jeff Hawkins at Blueski. I basically just copy my tweets, and I don't tweet that much anymore. I don't know if Shake Them Ropes is going to record this week. We may be taking this week off and just going hardcore once the WWE debuts on Netflix. I checked with Chris, but we did an Ask Us Anything episode to fill the holiday void. You want to know what I think the best fast food restaurant is, or opinions on the Grateful Dead? We got into some stuff. It was interesting. Talked about what we talk about off air, and got into some menial details about vice presidents of all things. But that's on the feed on Shake Them Ropes or on the Voices of Wrestling Monster feed. But if we record a show, it'll come out Friday or Saturday. Any news that comes up, we'll see.
Grateful Dead just inducted into the Kennedy Center honors last week.
God, I hate the Grateful Dead.
Me too. Sorry, Adine. And me, I am actually going to be all over the F4W site the next few days. I'm doing
bougie.
Josh Nason's year in review on tomorrow. We're doing December, and then with Jarrett I'm subbing for John LaRocca on the Fight Game podcast, and we're gonna do our wishes for 2025. So hey, maybe I'll use some of these suggestions here, and then I'm being warned not to listen to the AMA. Will you guys bury me or something? And then
I'm saying Paul didn't listen to the AMA.
Oh, and then I may be doing Wrestling Observer Radio on Friday. I'm not 100% confirmed on that yet, but if
with
we do
Garrett or with Dave,
both doing year-end awards. Yeah. So I because of my spreadsheet, maybe I'm
grab your spreadsheet. I was gonna say,
yeah. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for this show. I want to thank everyone for joining. Lively chat today. I want to thank the super chats as well. And a reminder as well. If you want us to review a classic episode of AEW Dynamite, we need $25. If you want to give us a $25 super chat, we'll do it. Get together with your friends. You can chip in $5 each, whatever. But we'll we'll do it, but only not pay-per-views. We're not doing pay-per-views, but we will do Dynamites. So someone suggested the 3-year anniversary show, which was when I think Punk and Hangman got into it on screen. That would be interesting because I think I was there. I think I was there live, but we need the $25. So for Jeff, I'm Paul, and this has been the Dynamite Show.
Thanks, Font.
Later.